The Joe Rogan Experience.
I got off on a giant kick one time reading about giant. And it's like anytime the Smithsonian got involved, it was just shut down.
Yeah.
You know?
The giant stuff is weird because there's a lot of documentation of people finding giants, like enormous,
giant bones,
10, 15 foot tall humans. And then there's also the Nephilim in the Bible that are giants that consumed everything. You know, that were, I mean, David and Goliath. There's giants in the Bible. And it makes you think, like, okay, is it a giant like the mountain from the Game of Thrones?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Just
like,
a big
that's
guy.
what yeah, maybe.
Because people were shorter and relatively back then.
Right, but probably some people weren't if they lived in some places where they had more resources and better genes. Yeah.
Pituitary gland problems, you know, where we have guys 7'11" plus, you know.
Yep, but this seems different. The giants in the Bible and the giants in historical accounts, it seems different. It seems like it's a totally different species of human. And again, if we just found this guy recently that's 1 million years old, and now we know. So forever they were saying that human beings, I mean, the timeline used to be Homo sapiens emerged 50,000 years ago, and then they moved it to 150, then they moved it to 250, 300, as they find more information. Now they have to push it to 1 million. You know, and if one day they find a fucking head as big as this table, like, what do they do? What do they do about that? Do they even tell us?
I don't think they would.
I don't think they would.
But why wouldn't they? That's what's weird. Like, why wouldn't they? Isn't that crazy? But we all agree. We all agree that if they did find a giant, they probably wouldn't tell us.
Yeah.
Like, but
not until they did their own, you know, figured it out for themselves or tested on what they want.
I don't know if they want people to know, but I don't know why they wouldn't want people to know. Like, why am I convinced that they would hide that?
Well, if there is Antichrist on his way, and his goal, he already knows he lost. So his goal at this point is just to destroy as much as possible, you know, get as many souls as possible. And finding stuff like that would prove the Bible more true would turn more people to Christianity or to God, the one true God. Then I could see where if there is like some type of spiritual force that is in somewhat control, then I could see that's the only way I can make sense of it. Is like, why cover up progress? Why not tell people the truth? Because
I think it's ego, and that might be also related to good and evil in a lot of ways.
Loving yourself, and you're supposed to love God over yourself.
Right, and being the person that has the knowledge and the person that distributes that knowledge and is the gatekeeper of it is a very intoxicating thing for a lot of these academics. And if all of a sudden something comes along that, and this is the speculation about what happened with the Smithsonian, that they took that stuff and just fucking tucked it away.
I would think they
femur
would
bones.
They would want to have, you know, secretly do their own tests without anybody knowing about it.
I know,
once
but
you
to what end? At one point in time,
before everybody else knows, they would already have the answers. I don't know.
But wouldn't there be a time where someone would want to be the guy who discovered it all and get all the credit for it? Like, that's why it doesn't make sense.
To me, if somebody knows God, it is freeing in a lot of way, and you realize that, you know, no government is above you, or no man is above you. God is above you, and you serve God. And if you can keep people away from God, you're that much more susceptible to being a slave to something else. And
like
whatever
evidence or anything that kind of proves that God exists.
Yeah, anything that's going to prove God's
way.
Existence, I think that's going to be the main thing they shut down.
Right. Like the Shroud of Turin is an excellent example.
Yeah,
that one's an interesting
wild.
one.
That's a weird one, man. That's a weird one. There's a lot of people that go out of their way to try to disprove it, but when you get into the dating of the cloth, so it used to be they were saying that it was only a few hundred years old, but now they're saying that the way the cloth is made, the cloth is made that's exactly consistent with the time that Jesus was alive, and that more tests need to be done to find out the exact age of it. Because the problem is, like, you don't know, like, what piece they studied, and you're not studying the entire thing. And also the image of it is bizarre, because the image of it, you really only see Jesus when it's a negative of it. And they don't know how that image was put on there. It wasn't stained. It wasn't burned on there. They don't know what caused it.
It's like a blast of radiation.
Yes,
right.
Somebody recreated it with gamma radiation, I think. But the only problem, so it would just be it would need to be an extreme source of light to do that. But the only problem is that would have vaporized, the heat from the light would have vaporized it realistically. So they're wondering, well, if light did do it, how was there no heat?
Right.
So if Christ did raise and pass through it, there's also X-ray images in the shroud apparently.
Well, you see this when you see the shroud in negative. Like Jamie, pull up an image of it. It's very strange. Like it shows the lash marks on his body.
Yeah.
It shows his facial features. It shows the holes where his wrist is, where he was crucified. It's very strange stuff. Because like for someone to do that as a hoax and to just not paint it, just to do it in some very weird. Go to that. Yeah, that one right where your cursors are so over that. Make that big.
Recently said it's fake.
They've recently said it's fake?
They go back and forth on it.
The thing is, like, who is the person who's they, right?
Yeah.
The Catholic Church is who
What's that,
owns
Jamie?
it.
Says they've been debunking it for 650 years.
Well, but 650 years ago, they didn't even have carbon dating. So what were they doing to debunk it back then?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people that want to debunk it.
There's a
So what
document
does it
they
say?
found.
A document?
Well, they were talking. I mean, I don't know.
Where they talked about it being bullshit?
Yeah, I've
The
also
thing is,
seen
people,
videos.
I'm sure, called bullshit on it
I've
a long
seen videos
time
of
ago.
People have talked about ways that some of that stuff could have been done.
Sure, but how would someone figure out that 500, 1,000, 2,000 years ago, whatever it is?
It could have been 300, 200, 150,
Sure.
60 years ago.
Well, it's 650 years. If they've been debunking it for 650 years, you got to assume it's at least 650 years old.
Well,
So the thing is, like, see, it's been dated between 1355 and 1382.
The text was the document
The text, what text?
that we're talking about here, not the shroud.
What is the text about? Medieval document has revealed the authenticity of the shroud that many believe wrapped and crucified was being called into question perhaps as early as 1355. Okay, well, that means that it existed 1355.
yeah.
Depictions by clergymen. See, it's hard. Deceptions. Oh, excuse me. Deceptions by clergymen. His writings, now considered the oldest written rejection of the relic, predate the previous earliest documented criticism by the Bishop of Troyes, Pierre d'Arcis, in 1389. So either way, we know it's at least 600 plus years old, and we know that the way that it was put on there was not stained, it was not painted. It's very strange. And if you look at it like that, they didn't even know that until they came up with photography, until they could take an image of it and make it a negative. They didn't see the face of Jesus and all the depictions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this image right here is like, you look at that, the Shroud of Turin, like, yeah, I could say call bullshit, whatever. But then you see the negative, I go back to those other images. So this is what it looks like when you run it through, when you use modern photography and turn it into a negative. That's really weird.
Yeah.
That this wasn't, that they didn't know about this in the 1300s.
Yeah.
A new study says it's something else. So they're going to have studies forever that debunk it. And one thing that academics love to do, they love to call everybody retarded.
Yep.
Everybody's an idiot. This is all fake. This is bullshit. But whatever that is, man, when you're just go back to the negative ones, the one that you just had, the one down, right? Yeah, that one, please. That's weird as fuck to me, man.
So
That's weird as fuck that you couldn't see it normally, and you only see it when they make a negative of it. That is so strange. That someone would go out of their way to fake something in that way, where it only exists in a negative.
Well, and they don't even know how it happened.
Right, exactly. They don't know how to. I mean, they're saying they could reproduce it today, but I don't think anybody has. And also, how are you going to reproduce it to such an extent with so much detail that matches the biblical depiction of the crucifixion?
Yeah.
Including the holes in the wrist, the lash marks on his back, the wound in his side. It's all really weird. At the very least, it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really interesting stuff.
To me, that seeing that, I really don't even care how old people think it is, or like figure out how they did that first. To me, it's like if this is.
Not only that, how'd they do that 600 fucking years ago?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
2,000 years ago, or whatever age it actually is.
I seen one article last year where they found dirt particles that matched, that they trace back to Jerusalem. So
Yeah.
it's like I say, they've been debunking it and saying it's authentic and debunking it. It seems like for the last 5 or 10 years now.
Oh, it's very weird stuff.
It's just where are we
How
at right
about
now with it?
that one church in Ethiopia that's supposed to have the Ark of the Covenant there?
Yeah.
And all the people that guard it, they all get cataracts and they wind up dying of radiation.
I haven't heard that
See,
one.
You ever heard of that?
I don't know about that, because the Ark of the Covenant was when God the Father's presence was here on earth, not through Jesus. The Old Testament, the I Am was down here, and that's what he resided in. And you had to do all these things to be in his presence, or you would literally just die, because, he's holy. And to me, it's like lightness and dark cannot exist in the same place. So whatever. But God the Father's presence isn't there anymore, so I don't understand why it would still be messing people up.
Well, we don't know what they were writing down, right?
Yeah.
The problem with all ancient religious texts, let's assuming there was real events.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is a lot of these things were told as an oral tradition for 100, 500, 1,000 years before they're ever even written down. And then they write them down. They write them down in Aramaic. They write them down in Hebrew. They write them, and then they have to translate it. And they translate it to Greek and Latin, and then eventually English. You're missing a lot along the way. When I read these things, when I read the Bible, or if I read the Book of Enoch, or any of these ancient texts, I'm always trying to say, okay, what were they trying to document?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the original event? Like, what actually happened? And the problem is people are really bad at telling the truth. Like, human beings, when they see something fantastic, they always add their own little flavor to it. People add their own little thing to it. If they are of a certain belief, they're going to attach that belief to whatever this thing was. So it's no question that these people held whatever that was in such high regard, and it meant so much to them that they, like the book of Isaiah, where it's verbatim, that they wrote it verbatim for 1,000 years. Back when they started out, they were writing things down on animal skins.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things about the Dead Sea Scrolls that's so fascinating, is they had to do genetic testing. So they're writing these things down on these animal skins, and they had to make sure that the skin of this one is the same cow as the skin of this one. So if they do like genetic testing to make sure it's the same cow skin. So, okay, we got all the skin from this cow, and it's in this group of text, so start decoding it.
That's an interesting way of doing it. That's wild.
Yeah. It's wild.
I would have never thought of that.
And like Wes Huff said, how they used to write things, like they'd leave stuff out back then because it wasn't required back then. They would just write down the basics. I watched that Wes Huff thing, and that was very interesting.
He's fascinating.
He's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
I've watched a bunch of stuff on him.
Very
learned a
brilliant.
lot.
But it's again, what were they trying to document?
Yeah.
There's clearly something was going on back then. Something happened.
Did you ever read that story? It was somewhere in the Bible. I can't remember where. It's in the Old Testament. Somebody stole the ark. Well, some tribe stole the ark, and like the next day, the next morning, like everybody was dead from stealing the ark, and they pretty much said, "Hey, come get this thing, take it back." Yeah,
yeah, we don't want it. We're good.
Well, that's what people believe is in this church in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Because there's these Ethiopian Jews who also, their Bible is the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
Do we have an image of this ark?
No, you can't see it. Nobody can get. I say, send in the SEALs. We need to fucking
SEAL Team 6.
find out what the fuck is in there, bro. Put these guys in hazmat suits and let's get to the
US
bottom
knows
of
you
this.
got it, it's going to be ours.
Well, you would imagine.
We're going to take it.
I would
Or
like
they
to
might
see
not know at all.
Well, what would happen with remote viewers if remote viewing is real? Get remote viewers in a
man.
room and
We have talked about